Virginia Blanque. I'm running for the Council District A seat.
Wonderful. Ms. Blanque, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. On behalf of NewOrleansBlack.com, NewOrleansFirst.com, we thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Please consider this just an opportunity for people to get to know who you are. There's no zingers here. We're interested in just learning you. So let's start with question one, which is, who are you? Start back at that childhood. Tell us the good stuff.
My name is Virginia Blanque. I was born to a German mother and an African American and American Indian military man.
Okay.
I traveled globally a lot with them because of my father's career. Settled on a farm, grew up, and graduated from high school and came to this wonderful city.
Okay.
Married a native whose family has been here since 1805. And
1805?
Since 1805.
Wow.
They came in with the Louisiana Purchase. So we are very well vested here. I became a part of that family and we raised our children here. I'm very passionate about the city. During my tenure here, I've had the opportunity to live in various neighborhoods and been fortunate enough to meet lots of other people that are equally as passionate.
Well, this is, I love this process that we're going through, getting a chance to meet each of the candidates, because everyone has a different reason as to why they're running. You know, a lot of us on the outside look and say, why would somebody ever run for office? Especially someone with so much talent as you and who's accomplished things that you've accomplished that we'll learn more about today. But why are you running? What got you off of that sofa and said, I can't take it, or I have to get involved? What's that thing?
We deserve better.
Okay.
We cannot repeat the sins of the past. We are our own audience. We know what we've done. We know where we've been. We've learned our lessons and we've proven ourselves. Unfortunately, that message is not heard beyond this city very often. On the state level, we're still looked at as the stepchild. On a national level, we're still perceived of having lots of problems. And there are real issues there. But at the same time, there are lots of success stories. And I believe in the people of my district and of this city that have worked hard to come back and rebuild their communities, rebuild their homes, rebuild their lives, although we have many, many, many more projects and things to move forward on.
Well, let's talk specifically about District A and some of the projects that you would like to see implemented under your leadership.
Okay.
What are some of those 1, 2, or 3 top projects that you really feel like has to be done?
The number one thing to me is budget reform.
Okay.
It's not very clear where our money goes, and from the river to the lake, there are lots of families that own their homes that are the taxpayers of the city.
Right.
That does not begrudge anyone who's a renter, but what I'm talking about is getting a value for your dollar. And
Right.
you need to see where that value is. And since we carry the burden of the infrastructure, of the things that are not being done, we need to see where that goes. And I believe as an activist, I will push reform. And there are lots of reform that need to be done. One of which, quite simply, where does our money go?
Right.
Out of the 100% pie, 20% is allocated to our needs. The rest is EMS, fire, and police. Those things are great. Yes, they need it. But on the other hand, only 20% deals with the things that hurt us most. Infrastructure, youth services, just the things that we consider quality of life.
Right. Now, I want to get even more specific on District A. Again, I want to get back to, you said that the reason you're running is because we deserve better. So let's talk about better in your leadership style. What can the people in District A and then the rest of the city benefit based on you directly and your leadership? What makes you a better candidate?
I'm the best candidate because I listen to the needs. And as contrite as that sounds, there's often things lost in translation. Having been out there through the planning processes, worked really, really hard to put together a meaningful plan that included everyone with all of their diversities economically, ethnically, culturally. It was very important to me for all of those voices to be heard. Then there was a great commonality there. We wanted some very simple things. Better roads, lighting, schools, parks, things beyond the means of the individual, but as a group, deserve it. Remember, we're paying through that tax system.
Right.
And it needs to be done, and that voice needs to be communicated upward. We tend to have a government that likes to work top down. Leadership should be top down, but the needs should be met from the bottom up.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that. More recently, you talked about diversity, so I want to go there. the council has just approved now where all, from an economic development perspective, 50% of all contracts are mandated to go to local firms, and 35% of that is DBE firms. What's your take on that? Is that something that we can count on you supporting? Will you want to change that in one direction or another? Give us some thoughts.
No, well, I absolutely support it wholeheartedly. We suffered the loss. We need to incur the riches. And I don't mean that lightly there. I'm saying quite simply, we are rebuilding our lives. We should have the first bite at the steak.
Right.
In doing that, our local businesses need to survive. That's who came back to town and put us together. Outside came in when they saw the opportunity, or they saw the life spark that our neighborhoods brought back. In terms of DBEs, you know, they're at a disadvantage because we are in an area that's considered high risk when it comes to insurance. And that helps us to be equal at the table. You can come from Tennessee with a very, very low insurance product. We have to pay 3 and 4 times as much. We need programs that make us viable at the table.
I couldn't agree with you more. That was pretty clean. Talk to us about what, without endorsing a particular mayoral candidate, okay, just what kind of mayor must we have in order for you on the city council to do the job you need?
A solution-oriented mayor.
Okay.
I don't need a mayor with theories. I need a mayor that wants to do actual work. He needs to be elbows up, heads down, get the job done. We've been through years of theory, and all we have is a bunch of plans that have not been vetted out very well. Things are constantly in review, and it's just not acceptable anymore. I want him to have a vision for beyond tomorrow. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
But do not forget to take care of your backyard, and that's what's happening currently. We are seeing people leave because things aren't happening. I'm in an advocacy position as a council person, not as an action. He's the head of the departments that are action-oriented.
Right.
The action needs to take place.
Okay. Well, you sound like you're serious about what you're doing, and I appreciate that. This is, we have very little time, but I wanted to get to our Facebook friends and ask you a question. And I'll select one. I think you might have had an opportunity to select a question. But here's one that I think would be important. Deshaun James asked, how can urban communities get better funding for programs like Boys and Girls Club? How do we help our communities get the funding that they need?
One of the things that I have on my platform is I would like to institute a study, as much as I don't like studies, but I would like for it to marry the current recreational products that we have, recreational program that we have out there, as well as the not-for-profits that are out there and available that can bring a purse, and the juvenile justice. And the reason being is our programs generally run defunct when they get beyond the age of 9.
Okay.
And that's where peer pressure comes in. And most parents at that point, unless you're really well heeled, you can't afford the fancy camps. So what you need to do is have a product that's affordable, that people can easily get access to, and that's the only way to get it with the right dynamic.
All right. Well, did you have something else?
Yes, my name is Virginia Blanque. Please vote for me, number 41. And I'm a mother, so I understand the challenges.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Good.